As we transition into this morning's update, this becomes the most interesting time in this thinly traded weekend, as XRP's held pretty strong here this weekend. We've got Bitcoin holding over 108K right now, up about 0.8% or $900 on the day. I wanted to do this live now because in about an hour and 42 minutes, I'm going to be back on travel.
In this video, we'll walk you through our...
Always forget about that. At least later today, I'll be back home, but I have to travel back home today. We were out here this weekend for my, from Thursday for my son's doctor stuff. Everything went great this time. He got the best possible checkup he could have had. He slept great last night. He's doing good. Looking forward to the car ride home. He loves it in the car. So I wanted to do this live for about an hour. Yesterday we did a couple lives trying to stay on track. And I'm just blessed to have this audience. I feel very, very fortunate that I can come here every single day, whether at home or not, and be able to share what I know and try to get some, help from each of you in the audience as well. And I think that's what allows us to do this in a kind of strategic way here, is we don't just rely on ourselves, but we're trying to rely on each other. This community is about creating abundance, not for one, but for all. So if you come in here, I think the best way to describe the vocabulary is if you come in here saying, what can I do? How can I make this money? How can I succeed? How can I make the best percentage? You need to change the start of the vocabulary and say, where can we? Hey, what's going on? I know. Love that guy. Every single day I seen this guy. I don't know if any of you watch the Gilmore Girls, but the grandpa who passed away at the end of it, there's a guy who's here, about the same age and is probably upper 60s. Every single day I seen him in the gym. Every single day I see him walking. It was kind of funny. But when I would go on the elevator, he just happened to be on the elevator. And he just walked by and seen me working and he knocked and gave a... So, it's pretty cool. But anyhow, so where I go, I try to spread the vibe of positivity, even though sometimes I can be a little abundant because I get a little bit passionate. So, sometimes I got to reel it in. But what I was saying is, if we have that us, like we want to have the we. How can we achieve what's coming next instead of, Tom, what do I need to do? That's what I'm trying to achieve here. And then when we get that we mindset, then it all falls into place. I know some of you know that in your personal lives. It really does start to fall into place when we have that we mindset. Yeah, that's what Define Group. I'm so glad you mentioned that. So you did notice the difference doing that short. I think having a flow like that going into the lives is beautiful. I really do. I don't know how many people watched it. Let me see. I just put it out literally a couple minutes before this started. And yeah, see, it's got about 50 views in the first couple of minutes. So that might help allow people to find their way in here as well. So don't forget to give thanks to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ on this beautiful Sunday morning. And it's so beautiful because we're all together. We never know what each day brings, but at least on this day, fortunately, for the ones who are here already, we get to spend this and dissect this market together. And I can't really think of a better way. And I was coming down here, my mom's like, you're already going to work? And I'm like, this is the way I start every single day, because you got to start it with the drive, the focus, and the energy, so that as the trading day comes, it's not like a typical job. Like, if we're doing this and we're watching the markets on a Sunday, there's three things we must understand. And then I'll get through the comments. We'll get to XRP. We'll get to some of the news and notes that we really need to read through this morning, because I do have to get on my travel time in about an hour and 45 minutes, get on the car and get home. But we've got Bitcoin price forecast, BlackRock, ETF demand, and Fed signals fuel bullish momentum. We've got XRP poised for explosive surge towards $2.65 amid bullish signals. And the reason I want to read this one is because that's not only the pivot point, but that's also the technical move that we've created if we can break bullish out of this range. Now, obviously, it's Sunday, so there are, the objective here that we've got to get through this Sunday on the thinly traded weekend, and that's fine. Yesterday, we were here at about 4:50 a.m., and then I came back on around, I want to say 11, and then you haven't seen me since. There was 2 hours of content, 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I think we were on point as a community, not me particularly, but I think the community was on point yesterday more than I was, even though we did a good job. Why can't I see this first name? The first comment I cannot see above Jorge. I don't know who that is. I know it's somebody who's been in Tom's Army for over 1 year. I wish it would show me. It's the way this screen is. I'm using their computer and it's so weird. Jorge, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor, along with Papa Wheelie. And thank you, Jorge, for being a very trusted mod. Says, hello, people. Hello, Tom. Please consider subscribing to the Tom's channel if you haven't, or consider joining Tom's Army. I greatly, greatly appreciate that, my friend. And real quick, I want to just to have a little bit of fun real quick as we get into our transition. UB2B, our meme genius, had a few things in here that I haven't read off in a couple of days. It's been about 2 weeks with all the stuff that's been going on. But I want to catch up to some of the stuff he said. Expect the unexpected. Sideways. Join Tom's Army. I love UB2B. He's such a genius. The dangers of FUD. See it or step in it. Danger. Fake news hole. Be on your game. Join Tom's Army. If we go down, then we go down together. Excellent. I'd trade it all for a little more. And these are all representative of what's happened in the lives and the updates. So it's really cool. No more jibba jabba. Join Tom's Army. Become a gold member. Join Tom's Army. I mean, he's got a great vision. Oh, I can't get enough of these. UB2B, if you're watching in the abyss somewhere this morning, thank you so much for those. I know I was like a week and a half, 2 weeks off on some, but they are so awesome. UK Phil, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. May I say I played this new update on Fortnite on my tablet while we've been out here. It sucks because I can only do it in 60 FPS, and on my PlayStation at home with my TV, I have 120, so it was different, but man, this season is something. It's always something now. 2460, welcome in, Joel. Nazir, good morning. Welcome in, Khan. So awesome to see you. So awesome to see you in here. Hopefully you're blessed your morning so far. What's going on, Big Dog? Thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty Dot House Crypto News, along with Catherine. Good morning, love. And XRP John, Big Dog says Quant. Yeah, Quant's a gatekeeper right now for XRP and all of those, because you kind of start watching this. But the one thing that Quant has done so far, and this is what we need to pay attention to. So we fell out of almost like a rising, I don't want to say a rising channel. I would almost say, not a channel, but I'd almost say like a rising wedge. Right now, what we've done is we back tested it as resistance, but don't think that this is just the bearish rejection. Like a lot of people are going to look at this morning with Quant and be like, if they have it set up with that breakdown, oh, Tom, see, Quant's done. It's over. No hope. It fell through. Yada, yada, yada. But as much as that's true, because this is the wedge right here, it fell through. Even though we're back testing, look what's happened here. Now, simultaneously on the back test rejection, which should happen initially on the push up, we now have a golden cross that's come through. We have the 20 recross, 50, 100, and 200. Now we've got the potential to 50 about to come back through the 100. And then going through the 200 as well as the 100. So we can get a whole lot of confirmation, verification, and validation here by back testing this at 104. So that's a possibility of what could and may be starting to transition here for this morning. And I wouldn't be surprised just because of how we ran up, 105.82 even in the 3-hourly. So then when we start looking at the market, are we starting to get any kind of identifiable marks? No. Bitcoin broke up perfectly to start the morning. If I had to wake up and see, this is exactly how I'd want to see it. Because now when we're talking about, remember we talked about the left shoulder possible head? Or at least the first, here, let me show you. At least the way it's rounding. And it's not like an inverse pattern, but it's kind of like these taps. So even though we came here, here, and here, you want to get above there. We've got here, here, and here, which means lower highs and lower lows successfully. Now we've got to break to a new high. If we break, so basically what you're looking at here, and this is kind of like, okay, if you don't understand how to trade or you don't understand what's happening, basically when you have lower highs and lower lows forming at the same time, you want to see which one breaks first. Can we get a higher high right now? Like, can we break this downtrending slope, break up to a higher high, use this as support and take off? Or do we make a higher low, get the rejection, and break down? that's what we're looking for. I'd rather have a higher high than a higher low right now, because sometimes with the higher low, it comes up to the rejection point, gives you that false gravata, and then it just falls through. So I'd much rather see a higher high right now. So we've got 3 consecutive lower highs and 3, I wouldn't say consecutive, well, yeah, up, down, so 3 consecutive lows. So now we've got to break the trend. And right now we're within 5% of the all-time highs for Bitcoin, roughly. So that move up that we were measuring out, if this breaks out, this certainly gets us towards 115. There's no doubt about that. If we can get up here and break, I mean, this might push us towards the cycle, the top, where we started this bull run. Not saying that that would be the end of it, because you see that massive inverse head and shoulders that plays out. It's playing out right now. It came down to the first layer where it had to create the right shoulder. If it wanted to come down farther, it could come down to 91K, but it's not at this point. It's not appearing that it's going to need to come down to the lower level. And I'm going to this part would be spectacular in itself, because you get about an 8% move in Bitcoin. However, we do know that the pattern top is up here at 123 roughly, and that was the start of the cup and handle breakout. Now, something that will bring this, and this is what we talked about before, remember this this inverse pattern? Remember what happens when you measure this out if we do break out to the top side? That's how you get to this one. And right now it's a little bit lower, but it's still within the range of the arrow. But here, how about this? We'll point this right here. It's 144K minimum if this breaks up. So you'd have 122 roughly, 119 to 122, and then you would have it ultimately up to 144. Now, I do know 154 is there, and it could be by the end of this if we break out farther, but that's what would end up happening, developing here. It'd be spectacular. I mean, this would be spectacular if this happened. It would be something different. It'd be something special. And, yeah, we just got to get through this intermediate area. So I figured I would start out like that so we could get on the same page with Bitcoin. Awesome crowd in here already this morning. 81 people in here. It's only 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. We give a little grace on Sunday because the U.S. usually wakes up around 10:30 on the Eastern Standard Time. I always get up at 7. I don't care if it's Monday through Sunday. I'm getting up at the 7 at the latest. It's just, I like to start my day earlier. Yesterday I started my day at 4:50 for my life. But the 2 days probably got 5.5 hours total of sleep. Last night I got about 6. So I equaled the first 2 nights here. Let's see. Yes, Ali. The golden 8-year resistance trend line sitting at 115.5. That is why I love this audience. That's why Bitcoin with that next push up, if it does come up near right here, whoops, that would get it just above that trend line. I had the trend line drawn before. I don't know where it went. So I'm going to keep it like this for crowding purposes. But good morning. 8:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, June 29th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. You want to hear a story of mixed signals? So 2 days ago, I come in here. I grab a water out of the fridge. I go to pay for it, and they say, oh, well, this kind of water comes with your hotel stay. And they're telling me I don't need to pay. The next day, I come and grab the water. I come in here to do the live at 11 a.m. The lady comes in and she goes, are you going to charge it to the room? And I'm like, well, they didn't take my money last time and said that this particular shit water is for the guests. Oh, yeah, when you check in. Well, news to me because I didn't even get one when I checked in. So then yesterday, fast forward to the next day, the third day, I'm talking to the lady at the front and she goes, oh, go in there and grab any water you want. It's on the house. And it's like, well, what the hell kind of mixed signals are you people sending me? It's like when I was watching Office Space. When he goes in there and they're like, what do you do for your job? And he's like, what do you mean, what do I do to the job? I take the customer's information and I walk it to blah, blah, blah. Do you actually take it yourself? Well, I have a secretary. So what exactly do you do? Well, I'm a goddamn people person. Can't you see it? And that's how I thought with them. They're giving mixed signals. It's like, what do you want from me? Do I take the water? Do I pay for the water? Give me free water. And they even gave me a smart water. So I was... It's so weird how places are. And it tells you it's not the business, it's the individual person. And it's like if you work at an establishment, who gives a rat's ass about the establishment? You want to help the people, create abundance, especially if they're good people. Anyhow, let's continue. Mark Caston, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Joel, good morning. Nazir, good morning. Big Dog, welcome in. I know we already answered your question. XRP John, good morning to you, friend. God bless you as well. I'm so glad to see you in here as always. Let's see, who didn't I say hi to? John Patak, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XP589 Moon Badge. Define Group, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor. Says Tom, that flow was perfect. In the short, giving the notice leading into the live felt good, very professional. Oh, I love it. That's what I was hoping for. I think that's a good way to do it too, because then if somebody can't watch the live, even they can at least get that 60 seconds of TA in the morning. So I agree. I think that flowed pretty nicely. Gray Paul, good morning. Ali, welcome in. The 8-year resistance, that's an excellent observation at 115.5K. Frisky Semi-Auto, good morning. Says, morning, Tom and everyone. Hope everything's good. Listening from the garden again on this beautiful Sunday morning. I can't wait to get home to get in the garden. I got some pruning. I've got some weed pulling. I like to do the weeds every single day with my little hoe. And no, I'm not talking about the strip, someone I got from 8 Mile. Talking about the real garden hoe. Frisky, welcome in. Morning, Tom and everyone. Hope everything's good. Listening from the... Oh, yeah, Frisky just said listening from the garden. I hope the garden's going beautiful. We're creating abundance through the gardening right now. I've got a couple months left in Michigan where I can take advantage. Israr Ahmad, welcome in. Was good, bro. Love your work. As always, can you hit us with the hash AI charts, please? Absolutely. I know I have it in here. Didn't save. We've been talking about it for a couple days. Sometimes it's annoying because it won't save, and then I got to re-put it in, which is fine. I think we did it on Mexi because we went through a whole big thing on here. Maybe not. I guess we'll go through a whole big thing again, but this, with much of the market, this is trying to put in a small reversal. We need to see if this V-shaped recovery in the past, I would say about 11 days, ends up playing through. Not the worst chart I've seen. It's got a nice rounding bottom, potentially back testing on a little handle here, because here's what I would say. Somebody asked me yesterday, and this is actually a good example of what we were talking about. They asked me if the cup and handle, if the handle can come back to the bottom of the cup. Well, it depends where it hits. See, if it would have come all the way up here and filled out the top part and then came down like this, no, that wouldn't be so good. But because it took the lower cup so far, now it's trying to angle back to the second cup, which often happens in the beginning. So what we ended up doing was, let's see where the best spot. We ended up doing something like this, came around, and now we're trying to build this little cup out, which that's fine. We can do that. It almost came to the bottom. It didn't come flat bottom, but it's like this short term. If it breaks up, then you're going to come right to the top of the cup, and then it's going to be the defining moment, because then it's going to have to do something, probably back test like this. And that's why I always say, you've got this first layer cup, you'll want to back test it, something like this, back into it, and then break up to the top section, which would be here. And then that's how you start to build, like boom, boom, boom. And then at the end, you're like, oh, wow, there's actually an inverse head and shoulders that built. How the hell did we not see that? It's not that we didn't see it. It just takes a little bit of time to progress into it. So, I mean, that's what I'm looking at for this. I know that's sloppy. But instead of putting a line and saying, oh, this is the uptrend, let's see if it hits, or oh, this is the resistance. Although it is important to have that resistance, let's not sugarcoat it. Because you want to make sure that this pattern gets over that resistance-filled line. And that's what I'd be looking at. And it matches up pretty good. That's, if you look at it in reality, that's kind of how the cup and handle would be built to break over. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's doing what it needs to do this morning. So the good news here with hash is it's doing what it needs to do this morning. No doubt about it. It just needs to now break up and push past 200. It was nice that it came up initially, came back down, but now we're trying not to have some kind of bearish drop. Volume in the daily starting to trend down, which could be a starting sign that we're running out of steam, and that could be why it came back down for support. Small inverse head and shoulders in the immediate short-term building. So that's something that could play into a positive impact right now. And what I mean by that is, in the immediate short term, you've got boom, 2. So you got like 1, 2, 3. So if this rounds out, that would be your breakout. So we'll keep an eye on that big time. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. It's up 4% on the day. So I mean, it's doing what it needs to do right now. So if you hold it, it's doing exactly what it needs to do. Obviously, if it falls out a little bit, then it would be up to you to make a decision. We talked about algo last few days. Algo is breaking out now. It's been stuck in this down falling channel. Well, I don't even know if you'd call that a channel. I almost want to say that that's like it's almost a narrowing channel, but nonetheless, it was on the breakout. And if it holds this, I lined up here where it would end up coming because you got boom, boom, boom. Then you'd come up here and try to fill this out right there, first layer. So, I mean, actually not first layer, but that's where it would be targeting. And then it could come up higher, but it's definitely, it's making some kind of noise here for algo. So, and you guys know when I bought it a day and a half ago or so, the 30,000 tokens, it's up a little bit, not crazy, like 4% or whatever. But right now it's going to be that danger zone. Like everything that looks good to go into the weekend, now we start to be like, let's see what happens here as the market tries to transcend and shake off the, the cobwebs of a thinly traded weekend. XDC I talked about in the intro because I said XRP holds strong, Bitcoin above 108K, XDC coiling up. And XDC, in fact, is coiling up. It's just, it's got to play through. Just because something's coiling up doesn't mean it breaks out. It could break down. We've gotten the 4-hourly and engulfing candle to the downside. But we have a bullish cross from the 20 crossing the 50 and now coming through the 100. And now you oftentimes do get that back test before an artificial breakout or a validated breakout. We still have the technical move up that needs to hit that resistance up about a few percent. So that's something we're going to watch and see if it develops in a positive fashion. XLM this morning, it's not giving it all up, but it hasn't made that push out. It's got a nice inverse pattern set up as of right now. It technically back tested this pattern consolidation in the short term on the support after falling out of this little channel. But that channel to me, actually, that makes a lot more sense. No wonder it was looking weird. Because if you come up from here and you cut this off, nah, I couldn't do that. Can't do it. Gotta do it like this. Kind of like it better like that. Because now you can see how we're struggling with the resistance support line. That actually makes a hell of a lot more sense. So if it comes out on top of this and we can hold this, your next area is going to be coming up to 20, what is that? 25.2. That's about a 14% move. Nah, it's about 12. Man, it's so interesting this morning because now once we get into the Sunday trading, this is when the optics start. So XRP, that 129 billion, it's 100% stayed right there. Nice bull flag though. If this plays out, question is with the V shape, sometimes you'll come back down and retest the nearest crossing, but it's got a nice inverse pattern here, almost like an inverse head and shoulder set up here in the very short term. Let's go back to the chart that actually emphasizes that real quick. So if this, that's what we drew out. If that's an inverse head and shoulders, that right shoulder, if it breaks out, it's going to bring XRP somewhere up here. But obviously it's got to get over this resistance. Technical move would be somewhere around 261. Puts us just below that $2.65 pivot point, which will become very, very incredibly dangerous here as we go along that we have to get past. If you are watching, make sure to hit that like button. 110 of you are watching on this Sunday morning, and I thank you so much. 52 likes. I think we can get a few more. But either way, I'm just glad to have you in here, honestly. Let's see. John Patak says, one for all and all for one. That's the way it's got to be. And thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. What a guy. What a guy. Tanya, welcome in, love. I'm so glad to see you in here. Probably our most famous member in here. Her and Miss Vicky. Hopefully, Miss Vicky, if you're watching, you're doing well. I know you're very busy. I know you still watch. So I'm glad to have you here still. But Tanya, thank you so much. I hope your daughter's doing good. Hope mentally you're doing good and things are, becoming more tolerable I know we've had a struggle the last few months, you know, with losses and things like that. So blessed to see you in here. Really, really am. Catherine, good morning. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. And Tanya, thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years. Getting closer to the 3-year Diamond Hands badge. How awesome is that? Let's see. Maria, welcome in, love. Good morning to you. So glad to see you in here. Bad Guy, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Let's see. Strider, good morning. We got a great audience this morning. Theo, welcome in. Defined Group, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor. Clayton, J Free Mix, welcome in. The other random, you know. Been seeing that name a lot more lately, too. Good morning to you, my friend. I do like to go through everybody's comments. Frisky, good morning. Says, morning, Tom and everyone. Hope everything's good. Listening from the garden again. Oh, yeah, I got your comment, but it's always good to talk about the garden. Addict, good morning. Been here since 2021. That is special. That is special. We've definitely grown a lot since 2021. There's no doubt about that. RSTL, got to change names. Yeah. He's the real St. Louis. He's just saying he's real in St. Louis, that's all. But thank you for tuning in and being a very interested man. I call it the way I see it. Dwight, welcome, and you're welcome, my friend. Tim Bates, welcome. Tom BlackRock Swan BlackRock Swan incoming with IAE. You know what? Probably right about that. You're probably right about that. Something's gonna happen. Some kind of event's gonna happen, unfortunately. Oh yeah, Black Swan. I understand what you're saying completely. Really do. Clam Bellies, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor, along with AZATV Adventures. Thank you both so much, and welcome in, Adventures. Much appreciated. What a great audience. Literally, what a great audience. Joey, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor and the $10 donation. Thank you so much, Joey. Yeah, we can look at DGB for sure. I forgot to look at it yesterday. Well, I think I looked at it briefly. But DGB is another one that has this rounding. And if we can get this positive momentum, DGB, what it needs to do here, and I know it's not on BITUNIX, but it is, you know, one of my heavy favorites. Could have put in that bottoming formation, came right down to that support structure area. Not the ultimate support, because if it fell out of here, it could come down to 4.6. But right now, if it holds this round, the most likely thing is it looks like we should come up to the 200-day, unless the market today, whatever reason, beats us down. There's still upward potential, even if these are bearish. DGB's been very beaten down. If you just go back in the short term, if you come back to about May, we're down about 40% just from May. So, you know, at some point, this is going to have that parabolic reversal. And it's trying right now. First step is going to be this 200 days. So in the immediate short term, I expect to see DGB around 786. And then we'll decide. I think the market right now for a Sunday is doing spectacular. That doesn't mean it's going to survive Sunday, but at least for now, it's doing spectacular. Zill's within a similar kind of rotation. This is what DGB is trying to do. Come up to the 200-day and the 2-hourly, and then try to get some kind of aggression. Look at this, though. That looks spectacular for Zill. Holy crap. Besides the short-term possible reversal in the small time frame, if this plays out, nice V-shaped recovery. On that V-shaped recovery, a very clear, decisive, and very progressively formed inverse head and shoulders. Boom, boom, even rounding the bottom on both. That's a typical inverse head and shoulders. And if it rounds out, first layer would be there, second layer would be here, third layer would be coming up to the resistance. So first layer breakout would be around 1152, second layer around 125, third layer 132. So that's a nice opportunity setting up here. if it plays out, obviously. First layer 7%, 7 layers 15, third layer is 22. So between a 7 and 22% move, depending on how far it would capitalize. And I am very heavily invested in ZIL. I have 400,000 tokens. Now, I will say it's on leverage, a low leverage. So I didn't have to spend, what was it, $10,000 or whatever to buy 450,000 tokens. It didn't cost me $4,000 or whatever. I actually did it on leverage. So I think I did a 5x at like $800 or something. It was something weird like that. Let's see. Tom, why are all the names changed? I don't know why. YouTube changes their policy a lot. So if you have multiple YouTube accounts, what they did, even on these accounts, they went back to the protocol of whatever the oldest account you have, it goes back to. If you have the same email address, and then they kind of circumvent it their own way. It is kind of confusing. The only reason I know Clam Bellies is Frankie Fresh is because of the picture. It's the only reason. It sucks, though, because I don't know who everybody is, but they're always messing things up. I had to reset this live 4 times because when I put the title, it didn't put it in. And it just said XRP Future Millionaires Live, so I wanted to reset it so that people could actually see what, we had up. But yeah, YouTube's been pretty lackadaisical lately. That's why, if you are watching, make sure you go to XRPFutureMillionaire.com. It's still at the end of the beta. You can see things change every single time you come on. I keep adding more and more stuff. Eventually, I'll be able to do a live on here separate from any other platform. I'll be able to post directly to YouTube from here. It's just I'm integrating it slowly but surely because I want everything to look right. You guys can go through the infrastructures that I really, really like and look at just by looking at the names. You can go to charting if you don't know how to chart. You don't have to go to TradingView. Let's just say how we were talking about ZIL. We go to ZIL. It starts off with the XRP market cap. I have this in the, it's a live API, and I have a dedicated server. So whether there's 1 or 1 million people in here, it's going to be lightning quick. I paid for it for 5 years. It cost a little bit of money, but it's worth it. So then if you're on here, this is the point I was trying to make. If you're on here, you can see the chart. You can go through all the statistics, all the stats. But if you need an indicator, let's just say you want to do the moving average convergence divergence, would be the MACD, right? Click on moving average convergence divergence. It's on your chart now. You can see how the money, or the moving average convergence divergence, how it's flowing back to green. We're reversing bullish here. I should probably put that on my chart now, on my actual chart that you guys watch. Oh yeah, Frankie Fresh or Clam Bellies right now. That's exactly it. I can do it exactly how I want. And then for my YouTube stuff, I just won't do it on the website. I would just do it through YouTube. But on the website, I can talk about anything and everything when it's appropriate. I'm working it in, phasing it in very slowly because I want everything to be perfect. And but you can do all of this here instead of having to do it even on TradingView. I wanted to make it a live API so that you could do what you need to do. And then if you want to do anything related to me, all you got to do is scroll down the proper sections. Like you want to use BITUNIX, you just click on it. You want to go to Tom's Army, you just click on it. It's very simplistic. I made this an all-in-one. You want to join the exclusive Telegram, join. It's all there for everybody. It's all inclusive. I did it like that for a reason. I've been working on it for like 2 months so I can get it perfected. I'm not in a rush. I'm not going anywhere on YouTube. I'll always be here, but it's kind of like my fail safe and a way for us all to get all the information no matter what. So it's pretty cool. So let's see. Our YouTube address is showing instead of our names. Yep. I don't understand why, but that's what it is. You're right. Now that you mention that, you're absolutely right. That is the YouTube addresses, isn't it? Wow. It's so weird. I was wondering, like, when some of these names change, I'm like, oh, this kind of is interesting because, you try to get used to people by their names. But yeah, that's my intention, Jorge. I'm trying to make this website something different. I was going to call it XRP247.com, but it's not just XRP because you can do more. So it's more related to my content. So I did XRPFutureMillionaire.com. And And then the cool thing I noticed when I go on YouTube, and I only noticed it because I'm not on my normal computer or my tablet when I'm doing this and I'm on theirs. I notice when I go to YouTube now, and I think it's pretty nice. Actually, you know what I need to do so that you guys know I'm not BSing you? I need to do this in a secret mode. Oh, no, then you won't be able to see it. Never mind. If I go secret mode, you won't be able to see it. I forgot. So let's see. I'm going to sign out. So nobody signed in. So you can see this is what happens now when you type in XRP. Look, now when you go XRP and you go to F, my name pops up. This never happened until like 2 months ago. It took me 4.5 years for them to make my name part of the YouTube thing. So that makes me happy. Because now even if nobody knows who I am, they'll be able to pull my stuff up. They'll be like, hey, XRP Future Millionaire. Yeah, that's what I want to be. Wait a minute, who the hell is this guy? Why are 107 people watching? I don't know. Yeah, I haven't done a live on TikTok in a little bit, but I definitely have a better setup now because I have my touchscreen behind me, that 32-inch touchscreen TV slash, like tablet style. And I'm going to be dedicating into that. That's part of this flow that's coming. But I needed to right my ship in my own house, which is YouTube, before I can go into my secondary house, which would be TikTok. And then ultimately Facebook if I can do it properly. But I needed to get the touchscreen behind it. I did some beta testing on YouTube so you could see what it would look like. But people on YouTube aren't exactly progressive in that way because they'd rather see my touchscreen the way it is, which I honestly would too. I would rather see it like this. If I was watching from the outside instead of seeing it from the whole touchscreen because you're closer in. When I asked ChatGPT XRP Future Million, are you serious? Let's see if Gemini knows that.
The term XRP Future Millionaire refers to individuals who hold XRP, the cryptocurrency associated with Ripple, with the expectation that its value will increase.
Ah, see, this is not smart enough. Ah, I'd show that nonsense on mine. How rude. XRP Future Millionaire, not Tom Speaker. You gotta love. Hey, ChatGPT on point, right? Let's see. I know I have ChatGPT. I don't know if it's downloaded right now. Should be. But no, it's starting to, which is cool. My name is starting to be put into all of these analytics, which it took a long time. Oh, it's funny they have it on Twitch. Remember when I used to do this for an hour? They really went back in time. Content, style, and community. Emphasizing an accessibility, equal access information, aiming to support traders of all levels without spreading fear or uncertainty. XRP Future Millionaire. That's funny. And then they put the cam down. I think maybe I should be like, I love messing with the AI to see what it puts up. But yeah, it's nice. I'm glad it showed up for you. But anyhow, let's continue. Let's read what we were talking about. No, it's not that I don't believe you. It's just like when I was on YouTube and I typed in XRP and I went to put Future Millionaire and I went XRPF and then it showed my name, automatically saved up there, XRP Future Millionaire. That tickled me. It tickled me because that means it makes it more accessible to everybody. That means that you're becoming part of the algorithm, like a pattern algorithm, like, permanent. So if they make me permanent, you know. But yeah, Rick, that's who it is. Rick won. I thought that was you, Rick, because I know somebody said it yesterday. They're like, Rick, did you change your name? Not by design. So Bitcoin price forecast, BlackRock, as I'm talking my way through this already 40 minutes. Holy crap. Is it really 40 minutes? Whoa. We got about an hour before I leave, so I got to wrap this up. Bitcoin price forecast, BlackRock ETF demand, and Fed signals fuel bullish moment. So Bitcoin eyes 112K on Fed cut bets and ETF frenzy. Bitcoin rose 0.2% on Saturday, June 28 billion on Friday's 0.15% modest gain, and closing at 107,340. While trading the broader markets, 0.59% rise, growing investor confidence is pushing Bitcoin closer to its all-time high of 111,917. Easing geopolitical tension, rising bets on Q3 Fed rate cuts. Where was my target at the beginning of the year for rate cuts? I said you can skip all the way into Q3 towards the end, or the beginning towards the end even, of Q3 would be your most likely spot. And spot ETF inflows boosted Bitcoin demand. U.S. data reveal cracks in the economy. Friday's U.S. personal income and outlays reports supported expectations of a Q3 Fed rate cut. Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay. While inflation edged higher, personal income and spending unexpectedly fell in May, suggesting a weaker consumption outlook. Given private consumption contributes over 60% to the U.S. economy, a pullback is disposable income, and consumer spending could raise recession risk. Weaker spending may also dampen demand-driven inflationary pressure. Friday's data followed a sharper than expected economic contraction in Q1, minus 0.5%, quarter over quarter versus prelim, minus 0.2%. According to the CME Fed Watch tool, this week's data and Fed comments pushed the odds of Q3 Fed rate cuts up from 69.7% on June 20th to 91.4% on June 27th. Several Fed speakers don't even care to say their douchebag names. Excuse me, but I don't. Could Bitcoin retest record highs? U.S. Bitcoin spot ETF market extends inflow streak. Market expectations of Q3 Fed policy move drove demand for U.S. Bitcoin spot ETFs, according to Farside Investors. Inflows skyrocketed. Key inflows for the week ending June 27th included BlackRock iShares continued to dominate with weekly net inflows of what the hell is that? 1,310.9 million. What is that? 1.3 billion? Is that what that's supposed to be? If so, we'll just say that. Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund had net inflows of 504.5 million. ARK 21 shares Bitcoin ETF saw net inflows of 268.2 million. The U.S. Bitcoin spot ETF market extended its net inflow streak to 14 sessions with total weekly net inflows of 2,214. So 2.2 billion. Like, let's just cut the shit here. After a cautious start to the month, total net inflows for June stand at 4.4 billion, I'm assuming. Another solid showing after May's inflows of 5. You guys get the picture. The outlook, Bitcoin's near-term price trajectory is on several key macro and market drivers. Middle East developments, trade headlines, legislative updates. We get that. Let's go to the technical analysis. So Bitcoin trades above its 50-day and 200-day exponential moving averages, the EMA signaling bullish momentum. Upside target, a breakout above the June 26th high of 108,402 could pave the way to 110,000. Right now we got rejected at that area. And now we were back testing this morning to see if we could get another power move over. A sustained break through that could push us up to 110. And then a sustained breach of the 110,000 support level, or now resistance, could push us through 111,917, bringing us to about 115. On the downside, a drop below 105K, and the 50-day exponential moving average could drop the level to sub 100,000. And if that happens, you would end up breaking down to 91K, just an FYI. It'd be a 9% drop if we lost that level. 14-day relative strength index is at 56.63, so that Bitcoin could climb to the record high of 111,917, which we're only about 5% away from, before entering overbought territory at 70. But remember, It's not apples to apples. Just because it gets into overbought, that's also where it can get into that parabolic driving point where it's over that major resistance, and now you stay up there and you get the biggest parts of the move when your RSI is way up there sometimes. And then last but not least for reading, XRP poised for explosive surge toward $2.65 amid bullish signals. So XRP is flashing bullish, as apparently this lady's going to flash us here, huh? I don't know. Falling to a huge size on her left size, on her huge size in latest photos. I don't know, I thought I was looking at a hooker or a stripper on here. XRP flashing bullish signals but remains confined within a narrow trending band or trading band, falling a bounce from $2.07. The cryptocurrency is encountering stiff resistance near $2.1920. This level proved difficult during previous attempts, making a crucial barrier that XRP must surpass for any significant upward movement. Currently, XRP sees strong buyer interest between $2.07 and $2.10. This zone has prevented further downside recently, offering solid support to upside. Ripple must break through the $2.19 and $2.20 resistance range if successful. The next logical targets lie around 224 to 225, which is exactly where we were, hinting this morning and yesterday, because that's a very big resistance level there. And if you can get above that, you would unlock continued bullish momentum. A break below the 230, a break above the 230 to 235 area would clear a bullish shift. Absolutely, because you'd retake 229, targeting that 261 target. That Ripple could rally towards the 260 level, possibly testing prior highs. However, market momentum remains muted as overall crypto sentiment lacks decisive direction, keeping traders in wait and watch mode. That's why we call it no man's land. Analysts argue that if bulls can maintain control above this support, XRP could emerge as a leader in the next altcoin rally. Market focus now lies in whether Ripple can flip 220 into support. And if we rally from these levels and don't go clear gaps through Bitcoin and with the CME and XRP with FVGs, because I could argue that $2.06 for XRP, we filled that gap, but now you could have one at 210 or 212 area. It's just a micro one, so I wouldn't call it anything serious, but it has emerged. So if we can't get over these areas, you could talk about a 4.5 to 6% drop just back to that fair value gap area, but it's nothing incredibly important. Jennifer Kupiak, welcome, and thank you so very much for tuning in. I hope the animals are doing great this morning. I really, really do. Tom, where do you stand regarding the XRP market cap? Do you think the market cap will influence the future? Absolutely. Absolutely. The market cap for XRP is everything. Look at where we're at right now. It's telling you everything right now. That one, and we've had this as our make it or break it point, and people are like, oh, it's just a line. No. That's been there forever. That 129.2 billion, that's telling you if you're gaining some over the top market production here. If you get over that, that's where you can break into that parabolic spike to 255. And it's very important because it's strategically set up in the cup and handle to where if it goes below that, it can be on the downside of the handle. Even though it could still come all the way down to 60 or 50 billion and still hold it, you technically want to be above that white line because then you're teasing a breakout at any point. And when you tease breakouts at any point, it's special. Now, you could look at it like that, but I digress. I like it like this better. And the fact that I like it better like that, it makes me feel a little more comfortable with what's happening here. So that handle looks pretty good like that. Bouncing off the 200-day in the daily as well is a great sign. So it absolutely has a lot. It has a lot to do with that. That market cap line is everything. That, to me, is where if this plays out, that cup and handle truly is going to bring us to the promised land. Do you guys remember when I drew this out? It's so crazy. I drew that out so long ago. This is what I drew out for the cup and handle. And we drew that out back a long time ago. We've had this chart for like 3-4 years as it was playing through that descending wedge, I guess you could call it. But just that downtrending pattern that took like 7 years. And then when we drew it out, we said we'd have to have something like this. And all of a sudden, it's actually working out exactly because I drew the cup and handle. And what I did is when we came around here, I said it needs to do this. And then it would have to do something like that before it breaks out. And look how it's doing that perfectly. Like, if I had to draw a bullish scenario before it happened, which I did, this is what it needs to do. And it's absolutely spectacular how it's following it. I'm just being honest. It's following it to the nuts right now. But like I said, it's Sunday. You know, we'll have to see what ends up happening this trading week. It's humid and hot here. I feel bad for them. Oh, that's too bad. Summertime, at least they know how to deal with it in their own way. But yes, the humidity is not always the best. I definitely agree with that. Maria says, cool website, Tom. Nice. Oh, I appreciate that, Maria. I put a lot of time into it. And it's not exactly where I want it to be yet. It's very, very close, though. I know you guys have seen the improvement since the first day of beta. And it's like 3 weeks into the beta. So hopefully, I was hoping it would only be a 1 or 1.5 month beta before I could get everything going. But we'll see. Everybody's getting ready to leave. I see 20 people off now that we're talking the news. Once I get done reading the story, I'll go because I got to pack up and I got to get out of here. I've only got 50 minutes before I want to get on the road. Traders Eye breakout toward $2.25 to $2.65. And if you want to join Tom's Army, show support, I'd greatly appreciate it. Hit the like button, share this on social media, join the over 44,700 subscribers. I encourage you to go on here to join BITUNIX. If you want to trade, spot trade, leverage trade, if you want to just swing trade, I encourage it on here. You can go to the Telegram. Please take a look at the website while it's, finishing up. Go to XRPFutureMillionaire.com, save it. You can do everything from real-time charts on the moment. You can look at anything you want, even if it's not related to crypto. Hey, I want to look at the gold chart, right? There is no shortage of what you can do. Every single thing you can think of should be in here. If there's something that's not in here that you can think of, let me know. I can go to like XRP Healthcare. I can go to anything I want, even the ones that might not pop up. So you can go to a lot of different things, and you'll be able to see exactly what you want. And I think it makes it easier. It's stocks, funds, futures, forex, CFD, crypto, all of it. Bonds, account. You can even go to the bond market. If you don't know what any of it is, you can just look it up like this. It's set up 10-year. You got the U.S. 2-year government bonds, the 30, 20, 5, 1, Japan's, other countries. I want you to have all the information you could possibly ever want. If you don't want to go to YouTube, you can literally scroll through some of my stuff here. Some of it will be newer, some of it will be older because I want everybody to get a mix of what they can do. But yeah, I think it's a great tool. It'll be a great tool for everybody if you want to stay connected. Especially with the community. And now let's finish this. So the $2.07 zone remains key supported by Fibonacci retracement and Elliott wave structure. A recent rebound from $2.14.5 after pulling back from $2.40 fits into a classic wave 5 setup. Historically tied to significant price climbs, traders view this as a bullish inflection point for XRP price movement. I wouldn't disagree. With the 0.618 Fibonacci level and a 1-to-1 wave extension in play, analysts call it a textbook reversal zone. Sustained strength above 207 could propel Ripple toward 225. I can't disagree because I have the 206 mark, and that would extend us out to 224. So being on top of 207 and then on top of 224 at 225 would be great. And even 265, which is my major pivot. So this is on point, which is why I use this article. Holding this level adds weight to bullish scenarios. Over the coming week, especially if volume begins to build, volume predicts price. Don't care about it, Greg Crypto. CoinGlass data shows that a 5% increase in Ripple futures open interest, indicating trader confidence. The setup mirrors past XRP rallies, which brief dips preceded sharp moves upward. The dip is due to traders who are trying to liquidate their Ripple holdings just before the gallant rally. As traders continue to accumulate, the stage appears set for potentially explosive XRP rally in the weeks ahead. Retail is not buying more. Institutions are loading this shit up. So, and then the crypto fear and greed index. And then I'm going to call it a day. Hope you guys had a great time here. I'm glad we were able to do a live. I should be back tonight, assuming everything goes good at the house, which I expect it to. I'll be back home by 2, but I would love to do a live around 6, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Drive us in to the weekly trades. See how the gold silver market open up. See how the U.S. dollar and things like that. We're up to 68 in greed. Holy hell. So, if we do this properly, this will push into extreme greed at some point. Bazaar says, How are you so knowledgeable with the markets? And I say this as a compliment. Sometimes you lose me, pal. I appreciate that, Bazaar. I study this every single day, and I've went through a wide range of things in my life through trying to teach myself. I the best way I call myself now is I'm like a self-taught economist, but I have a photographic memory. So I know it sounds weird, like I can literally look in front of me, and it's like on the Rain Man. Remember Rain Man? How the brother was autistic, and he could see like in front of him. Like I can picture something, and then I can kind of see like a screen in front of me. So I don't know, it's weird. My son's doing it now. He writes in front of him when he's got nothing in front of him, and he's like doing this and doing equation. It's so weird watching him do it because it reminds me of me when what are you gonna tell people? So it helps. It definitely helps. I had frontal lobe damage in a very bad car accident when I was like 25. 2 years after I broke my back in an even worse car accident. None were my fault, but it doesn't make me feel any better. Ever since that happened, it kind of tied my brain together. It's weird. But I do this every single day. That's the best I can say. I do this 4.5 years straight, no days off. I try to study everything, and then I try to see how it all kind of merges together. But we'll talk more about this after. Thank you, everybody. I'm so blessed and honored to have all of you. And we'll do this again shortly. I'm so glad we spent 56 minutes together, but now I got to go pack. I got